In this video, the next game that I'm taking a look at is from Modern War Magazine by Decision Games, number 3. It's called Somali Pirates. I don't actually have the magazine, but I only have the game. It is basically a hypothetical game, although it's very realistic. It's just not based on a specific war, but what could happen if a coalition decided to try to do something about the Somali pirates and the warlords. And so that's what this game covers. It doesn't really have like time frames in the turns. There are 12 or 15 turns possibly in the game, but they represent an undisclosed amount of time where a certain number of operations have happened or may have happened. And the map basically covers the East Africa portion and some of the North Africa, on the eastern side of North Africa and Ethiopia. And it's a point-to-point map. And as you can see in this picture, I guess the points are actually hexes, but the black squares are where you can be underground, and in the square is when you're out in the open. So it really covers that aspect of asymmetric warfare. When the game starts, the currency used in the game to moderate everything is called net war points. And so these are used for everything. You win them when you have successes. You lose them when you have negatives. You spend them to bring troops into play, or to bring coalition troops into play, or to raise troops if you're with the Somali pirate factions. So there are basically 4 factions in this game, and so what we do, we start with 50 net war points for each side, and then we just randomly, we roll a die and try to figure out how much we randomly will add to that to start the game, just to cause some variation. And when I rolled the dice out, each side just ended up starting with 90 net war points. And I believe that the track caps out at 100. So you basically don't ever get more than 100 points. It's just an artificial limitation. The pirates have 4 different factions that are active at no charge. They just are all contributing to whatever's going on, and they're friendly enough because they have the same objectives: keep the coalition from interfering with our activities. But the coalition actually has to pay to get forces to come in. So the coalition spends 20 net war points to activate the South African Union. So these are governmental forces in South Africa that we obviously want to have active. Also, the Somali Transitional Federal Government is activated, and the Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa is activated, and the Joint Special Operations Task Force is activated. So this total costs 20 points to activate all of these coalition forces. So the pirates have their factions, but if they want to build additional forces, they have to expend net war points. So they also expend 20 points and add some of their insurgent forces. So at this point, both sides are now even at 70 net war points and are able to start the activity. So I'll go into turn 1. I'm just going to put photos of the map during gameplay up for you to see as I narrate some of the things that happened. So when the game turn starts, we determine who has initiative, and they get to decide who plays first. And both sides are tied with net war points. So when there's a tie, the pirates actually have initiative, and they decide to play first. And to be totally honest, I have no idea whether it's a good idea to play first or not. I'm kind of an OCS player, so I know that generally you want to play second in games with initiative if it's OCS, but this is a different animal altogether, so I don't really know. But I'm deciding to play the Somalis first. Then there's a mutual mobilization segment. So the coalition player spends 10 net war points and purchases 4 net war chits, which can be used during the turn, and then the pirates buy 3 chits. Then we actually go to the Somali pirates' turn. So all 4 of the pirate factions move. The Somalis have the Southern Somali faction, the Puntland faction, the Somaliland faction, as well as Al-Qaeda. So the Somali attack craft focus initially on raiding the coastal waters, and then there's a few units that are looking inland to attack the Somali transitional government formations. And Al-Qaeda also pulls away from their current location. And I believe that is Djibouti. So there is going to be some combat in the Indian Ocean as depicted in the picture. The Southern Somali faction has a number of attack ships that will perform a raid. So this is going to be done using the asymmetrical combat results table. There's also a kinetic one. So I've divided the attack into 2 smaller groups. The first one has no result, but the second attack is a minor success, and they obtain the loot result on the table. So that nets 3 net war points, bringing them up to, I believe, 67 points. The Southern Somali pirates tried the same method in the Indian Ocean. In Zone 6, the attack ships and a mothership combine into a very large raiding force, but this ends up resulting in a fiasco, and one of the Somali units is destroyed. I'll show you a picture here of the combat results tables that are provided in the game. The asymmetric is the one that's used for these raid type of missions.
Trucking